So I have a message for mothers this morning that you should rejoice, because weeping may endure for a season, but joy will come in the morning. So what happens? In 1 Samuel, we look at Hannah going to the house of God, weeping and crying, and she had been teased by her rival about her barrenness. And then something dramatic happens. Right after this woman prays, she goes from weeping to joy. The Bible says as she left the house of God, her countenance was no more sad. She was able to eat and she went her way rejoicing. See, I've often said that joy is the first test or the external exhibition of faith in God. Immediately, Hannah believed that she had prayed, God was going to do something. She began to rejoice. And so the Bible says she went back to her town. Her husband knew her and she conceived. And the following year, she didn't go into the temple with the husband and the rest of the family. She gave birth to a baby boy and she told her husband, I want to wean the child. Now, listen to the prayer that Hannah prayed. She said, God, if you would give me a man child, I will loan that child to you for the rest of his days, and no razor shall touch his head. Hannah was very specific. She didn't just say, I want a child. She said, I want a boy. I want a man child. And God granted her request. Are you specific in your request to the Lord? Or are you not sure about what you're asking God? Be bold. The Bible says we should come into his throne of grace with boldness, where we may receive grace and mercy to help in time of need. And then Hannah has her baby. She takes this baby to Eli, takes all the sacrifices and things. And actually, up until that point, Eli does not even know what this woman had come to ask. She just told the man of God, I've put my petition. So she comes and introduces herself. I'm the woman who stood by you crying, and this was the request I made. I brought my promise. And she burst out into a song, or a prayer, the Bible calls it. She said, my soul rejoiceth in the Lord, for he has enlarged my mouth. And then she goes on to say some prophetic things. One of the things she says was that God has the power to make the barren woman give birth to 7. Now remember, at that time, she had only one child. She was declaring something prophetic into her future. Every year she would come back with a nice little coat for small Samuel. And one day, Eli looked at the couple and said, look, the way you've lent this child to the Lord, may God grant you seed. Oh boy, you won't believe what happens next. Hannah had 3 more sons and 2 daughters. In other words, she had 6 children. Did Hannah speak a self-fulfilling prophecy? Because she prayed and rejoiced. When she had 1 child, she was praising God for 7. And Hannah had 6 children in all. What a miracle. You know what Hannah did? She unleashed the power of the spoken word. You know, in Mark 11 verse 22, Jesus cursed the fig tree. And when the disciples were surprised, Jesus turned to them and said, why are you surprised? If you have faith like a mustard seed, you will not only do that which I've done to this fig tree, but you shall say to this mountain, be moved and be carried into the sea, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible to you. Wow. Jesus is either telling the truth or he's fibbing us. If he's telling the truth, we need to run with it. He said, if you have faith and you don't doubt, you will not only do that which I've done to this fig tree, but you shall speak to this mountain and it will remove, and nothing. Dear friend, dear mother, what is it that seems impossible? Speak it into being and it will come to pass. He says, but when you stand praying, forgive. Sometimes women tend to bear grudges. My husband did this. My friend did this to me. I'm never going to forgive. Look, your grudges, they stand before you and your miracle. Let go. If somebody has hurt you, don't worry. Put your trust in God. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. And you know why our prayers also work? Ephesians 3:20 tells us that for God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we can ever ask or think, according to his power that is at work in us. It's not just us. There's a power from on high that is at work on the inside of everybody. Tap into this power and speak into your future. And mothers, by all means, rejoice. Like Hannah, go from weeping to rejoicing. because God is about to do something good in your life. And finally, Proverbs 31 tells us that the virtuous woman, strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. So put on your strength, mothers. Put on your hard work, women, because you will rejoice in time to come. Stay blessed. I hope you had a wonderful Mother's Day. I did. And see you next time. This has been Dr. Bertha Ayi presenting Hannah, Joy Comes in the Morning. God richly bless you.